Okay, folks, another movie review, and this one is from the 80s action powerhouse production studio of Canon Video. Okay, let's just get down into our review here. So I picked this movie up a couple of days ago. It's got a PG rating, 106-minute runtime, and it came out in 1986. Chuck Norris and Louie Gossett Jr. in FireWalker, which was directed by J. Lee Thompson, and he is known for directing the original Cape Fear starring Robert Mitchum and The Guns of Navarone. I believe Gregory Peck is in that movie. He's a British director, passed away in the early 2000s. And so in this particular movie, it was Cannon's #1 grossing box office film of the year. It made like over $10 million in 1986 when it came out, but it was universally panned by critics, with Rotten Tomatoes giving it a score of only 8%. IMDb wasn't much better, 5 out of 10. But then it was very polarizing because of Google users gave it a score of 84%. So, and I love action adventure movies, and I like movies from the 80s. People, Leonard Maltin, in a little snippet that I read on Wikipedia, he said this movie was riding off the coattails of like Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981, Temple of Doom, 1984, and Romancing the Stone, which also came out in 1984. And it kind of did. I kept thinking, even without reading that descriptive, I kept thinking this movie is riding off the coattails of all the other great movies of the 80s, like Raiders of the Lost Ark or Romancing the Stone, Michael Douglas. And it wasn't as well done. There is a Canadian actress that plays Patricia Goodwin. Her name is Melody Anderson. She wasn't really in a whole lot. She's quite attractive. Love that teased 80s hairstyle, lots of perm and curls. And side note, it really did stay perfect per the snippet in Wikipedia that I saw. People didn't like that her hair and makeup were just pretty much perfect through the whole film, and it was. But to me, this movie is better than an 8% rating. It was kind of dragging on for me, but I liked the fact that it was a buddy comedy. And this was actually, speaking of comedies, Chuck Norris was on a 7-year contract with Canon, and he had wanted to do a comedy film, and he wanted to write his own comedy film, and then someone showed him the script for this movie, Firewalker, and he's like, okay, I'll just do that. People say he was very wooden and rigid because he's mostly used to doing action movies, and people compared him to like Arnold Schwarzenegger in like Twins or Junior, where he just has better comic timing. I really enjoyed this lighthearted version of Norris in this film, and I think of him in that movie that I reviewed, Good Guys Wear Black. I liked that movie too, and people did not like that movie. And to me, it worked. I thought it was fun, and I enjoyed it. It was not the best action movie ever. It was kind of cheesy at points, and just like a lot of movies of this period, kind of playing off Romancing the Stone, it takes place in like Latin America, down in Mexico. There's like angry Mexican military coming after them, angry locals getting in bar fights, and then you just see Norris doing what Norris does, roundhouse kicking everybody in the face and just laying waste to everybody that comes in his path. So it was kind of cheesy, but I overall thought it was an okay movie. I can't say that I'm in the one or the twos. I would go middle of the road, 3 out of 5. I would not watch it again, but I think it's better than the low ratings that everybody's giving it. To me, it was like, it wasn't choppy. There was even some camera shots where I was like, ooh, I really like the cinematography, and it had a very classic 80s soundtrack, and it was a fun movie. That's what I just keep thinking of. What else did I want to add about it? And Louie Gossett Jr., he was an Academy Award winning actor from the movie Officer and a Gentleman a couple of years before this, so he was still in his prime. And then he was like 1 year away from being in Predator, so he was kind of like at the peak of his fame. And so Norris too, they're kind of like these 80s powerhouse actors. And there's a cameo from John Rhys Davies, also from the Indiana Jones franchise. He makes an appearance in this movie with a very bad Southern accent as Chuck Norris's old Marine Corps buddy that's living as some kind of king of natives out in the Spanish jungles down in Latin America. it was just, I don't know. There was this, like, it started in the U.S., and it just kind of is going all over the place, and they're looking for some lost Aztec treasure, and there's this villain who's a Native American who doesn't like that and wants to come after them, human sacrifice, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, I get it. The action sequence where like they're going to this like Aztec Mayan ruins, it could have been better. It did kind of feel low budget, but it was supposed to be a low budget movie, and it made back all of its money and then some. Interestingly enough, it wasn't enough to save Canon because it went bankrupt shortly after this film, from what I read online. But a lot of people that collect VHS love the Canon and media label on VHS, so I picked this up to send to my friend Jonathan because he likes their movies that they put out, and I figured I would just pop it in the player and do a quick summarization before I sent it off to him. And it just wouldn't be one of those movies that I'd want to keep permanently in my collection, but it's also an enjoyable movie, and I just love the fact that they do hand-painted posters back in the day, and they were just, I don't know, it's better than critics gave it credit for. That's all that I'm saying. I don't have anything else more to add. It wasn't like there wasn't a lot of information on this movie. It came out on DVD in 2005 if you want to get a more clean copy. This copy was very clean, and it is a 1987 original release. I like how the older VHSs have the paper label, and I prefer the cardboard slipcase because I can stack it on the shelf more easily than a clamshell. That's it. Until next time, we'll see you then.